Hi everyone, my name is Carol Nyazika. Thank you so much for joining me on my channel. So on my Instagram page, I showed you guys that I was sleep training my baby Gianna, and I asked if you wanted me to record a video on how I sleep trained her. So I decided to document that process for you guys and show you guys what I did and the setbacks that I had and the experience that I had during this sleep training, whether or not I would recommend it for you to try out at home, and the stuff that I use to enable me to be able to do the sleep training. Okay, so I'm going to start off from the beginning and tell you guys how her sleeping habits were from birth all the way up until I decided to do the sleep training. So when she was born, she was pretty decent with the way she slept. It was just a matter of figuring out when she wanted to sleep. So when we brought her home from the hospital, we used a next to me. I didn't have a Moses basket or any of that. She used a next to me during the night, and then during the day, she would sleep on the floor on a floor bed thing that we had. So that's how she would sleep through the day or at nighttime. She didn't necessarily co-sleep with my husband and I, only when she was just not settling. As you guys know, I had a C-section, so through the night my husband did everything. All I did was feed her. So my husband would get up, he would change her diaper and just hand her to me to feed her, and then I would hand her back to him to kind of settle her down or to rock her to sleep. So she would sleep on his side of the bed, and then he would just pass her on to me to feed her, and then I would give her back to her dad. On the nights that she didn't settle, she did sleep in between us, but as soon as she fell asleep, we would then transfer her back into her next to me. So that is how we slept. Or she would sleep on my husband's chest, but she never really ever slept feeding. That was the thing that I noticed, that she would feed and they should be awake, and then we would have to rock her to sleep or hold her to sleep. But once she slept, she would sleep for about 3 or so hours at a time, and then she would wake up to be fed or to have some reassurance. Okay, I assumed that would be a reassurance that we were still there. So that's what we did in the beginning. So when she was 2 months old, I had downloaded an app called Huckleberry. So this app literally saved me, because all you have to do is log in all the information that's going on with the baby. So you log in the time that she's slept, you log out when she's awake, and then it'll tell you when she's most likely ready to go back to sleep. So this helped me because it took away all the guessing out of figuring out if she was tired or if she was hungry or if she needed a nappy change. I just knew that, in 45 minutes, she's about to fall asleep. So that honestly has been the biggest helper or game changer for me. I've got my notes here, guys, so I'm just going to be referring to my notes. So during the first 4 months, I was pretty much the only person, except for the first 2 months, who was able to put her down to sleep. What I had to do was literally rock her to sleep. Luckily, it didn't take a very long time to get her to sleep, because I did have the assistance of the app. I would just rock her to sleep and she would sleep in about maybe 5 to 10 minutes, which was fine. When she hit 4 months, this is the period when most babies have sleep regression, and that just means that they don't want to sleep, or they wake up more often, or they don't have long enough sleeps. I didn't go through that. I was okay during the 4 months. She just woke up the same times that she was waking up. So there was now a routine of when she was waking up through the night, like the time frames that she was waking up, and you're able to see that in the app. You're able to see that, okay, last night she woke up at this time, tonight she woke up at this time. So it helps you know the consistency of how her sleep pattern is. So that was another thing that I really like about the Huckleberry app. This is not a sponsored video. I'm just letting you guys know and sharing with you guys, because I do have a lot of moms on my platforms who have been asking me how I did it. I would strongly suggest that you download the Huckleberry sleeping app. So another app that my friend suggested that I download was Wonder Weeks. Wonder Weeks just tells you when your baby is going through leaps. They call them leaps, like growth spurts. And it also tells you what to expect during that leap. And it also tells you the length of time that is going to be happening. So that is another app that really helped me know when her mood changed or what was going on. Because I think a lot of people go through that and they don't know what's going on with their baby. So the Wonder Weeks app is an app that really helped me know what was going on. The 5 to 6 month leap, According to the Wonder Weeks app, she was going to go through a lot of change within herself, within her mind. So what then happened was that she only wanted to be rocked again by me to fall asleep. And at this point, she was getting heavier. And the other thing was that my back was getting sore because I had an epidural for my C-section. I feel like that still affected my back. So this time she was getting heavy. She only wanted to be rocked to sleep. So that really took a toll on my body. During the transition from 5 months into 6 months, the leap took about 6 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. You can imagine your baby waking up every 2 hours, 1.5 hours, which she didn't do before. Through the night, she would wake up maybe twice or 3 times, transitioning from that sleep pattern into a sleep pattern where she was honestly waking up every hour, every 2 hours, and sometimes she doesn't even need anything. Sometimes she wouldn't even want to feed. So during this period, that's when I decided to not rock her in the front because she was too heavy, but instead put her on my back and tie a towel. In our country, we call that babu, where you put the baby on your back and then she falls asleep. I don't know what it is about it, but it's very universal. Anyone can put a baby on their back and that baby just settles down. I don't know if it's them hearing your heartbeat or the closeness or whatever, but that was what I decided to do. So that was the period from the 5 months into the 6 months where I just got so drained, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to figure out how to sleep train this child because we cannot keep doing this. My timetable doesn't allow me to be doing this, and it's just not practical because again, I couldn't leave her with my mom because she wouldn't be able to put it to sleep. I couldn't leave just to go out because her time frames for sleeping were so close at this point because she's young. It was just a nightmare. So that's the period that I was like, look, I need to train her to sleep. Okay, so that's the backstory of why I decided to sleep train her. See, I went on YouTube, found a video like this one where people were talking about their journey. At this time, when she then hit 6 months, my research then told me that babies are able to mentally put themselves to sleep from 6 months. And at this time, I had also started giving her solids just to prepare her not to introduce too many things at the same time. So that's what I did. I introduced her to solids a week before her 6 months. And then once her leap had finished, that's when I then got her into the sleep training. Okay, so these are the things that I did that helped me with my sleep training process. I bought a white noise machine. I also bought portable blackout blinds. At this point, she was still sleeping in my bedroom. So what I wanted to do was introduce one thing at a time. So the first things that I introduced were solids, and then I introduced the white noise, and then I introduced the blackout curtains. So those are the things that I utilized within the process. But the method that I used was the Ferber method. Pretty much the Ferber method is that you have a period of time when you go in and you check on your baby. So it also gives you time frames of when you go in and check on the baby and what you should and shouldn't do during that time. And then I also downloaded the Sleep Sense ebook from Amazon. That also just gave me more information to back up why what I needed to do in certain and different situations of the sleep training process. I started at exactly 6 months because this is the recommended time a baby should be able to sleep, because they can mentally put themselves to sleep as well as they can move around. At 6 months, they're able to roll or they're able to sit. So they can put themselves into a position where they can be comfortable enough to fall asleep. So this is why I wasn't successful at 4 months, because she wasn't ready. And I suggest that you don't try it before 6 months, because I did that and it was just a disaster. So 6 months for me is what I would advise you guys if you guys are taking on any of the pointers that I'm going to be discussing in this video. 6 months for me is the ideal age to start sleep training. I had a routine for her from birth. You need a nighttime routine when you are about to sleep train. They need to be able to have a routine to know that they are about to sleep. So this is the routine that I have in place for Gianna's bedtime. So she feeds about an hour before she goes to bed. So she'll have her dinner as well as some milk, and then she has her bath time or wipe down, whatever that I'm doing on that day. She has a little bit of playtime after that, depending on whether or not she is tired. But we just make sure that we are winding down. So I put on a playlist from Spotify. I'll link my playlist down in the description box for you guys to follow on Spotify if you want to use my playlist. I let her play in the room with no toys, so I just have her exploring whatever her surroundings and just talk to her and just give her some words of affirmation, pray for her. So that is her winding down process. Put on her diaper for the evening, just that whole process of getting her ready for bed, put on her clothes and so forth. I then turn on the white noise machine, turn off her music, and then her blinds are already down at this point. So you just want to create an environment that allows the baby to know or to recognize that we're about to go to sleep. So after we've done all of that, and then I put her down, rub her belly, just let her know I'm here, put the monitor on just to be able to watch her. Obviously, she's going to cry. Guys, anything that's new to anybody is going to be difficult. And the other thing that I thought about was that if you're taking your baby to nursery, even though there are people there, they're still going to cry. They're going to cry until they are used to it and are comfortable with it. So you're not doing any damage, you're not doing any harm, because babies will cry if it's something new that they're not used to or comfortable with. And it's fine. I put it down and then I follow the Ferber method chart. You go in, you do words of reassurance and of confidence to say, I'm right here, you're okay, you just need to go to sleep, mommy loves you, and you leave. So I was staying in there for probably like 30 seconds to a minute. The thing that's going to happen is that when you leave the room, your baby's gonna cry even more. It's going to be like, why did I even bother going in? That's what's going to happen. You just need to be strong. And my suggestion is that have someone that you are texting or on the phone to, telling them what's going on so that they can reassure you and they can keep you on track of what you've set out to do. Another tip is that if you're in a household where you've got multiple people that are helping you, make sure that everyone is clear on what is going on. Make sure that everyone is on the same page, because once you start sleep training, that crying is going to make you feel like you can't do it or you're being horrible, because no one wants to hear a baby cry. No one wants to hear their child cry. So just make sure that everybody is on the same page and you'll be able to complete the whole process. The first day is always the hardest. What I also did was that I would write down the length of period that she was crying for in total. So I followed the chart. So after 3 minutes, after 5 minutes, after 10 minutes, 12 minutes, and then 15 minutes up until she fell asleep. The first night she took about 38 minutes to fall asleep, and then she woke up at a normal time, which was 10 o'clock. At this time, I had said that I wasn't going to feed her through the night because research states that they're able to go for 12 hours without feeding. So at 10 o'clock, I'm sure it was, I went in when she started crying, reassured her, did the whole process all over again, went in after 3 minutes, 10 minutes, and so forth, whatever the chart says. It took about 38 minutes again to fall asleep. Because I had gone through it initially for 38 minutes, I was a bit more relaxed that she can do it. I think that's the first notion of wondering if she can do it or if she can't do it. But because she slept after 38 minutes the first time, I knew with the second time it was a lot easier to just go through the process. So she slept again after 38 minutes, and then she woke up at 1 a.m. So these are the times that she was waking up consistently before. So she woke up at 1 a.m. and then this time it only took 20 minutes to fall asleep, and then at 5 a.m. it took about 5 minutes to fall asleep. So I only went in once, and then after that she had fallen asleep, and then she woke up at the normal time where everybody is happy at 7 a.m. And then what I also did was that I did the same thing for her nap time. I just put it down because I didn't want her to get confused with, I can be helped to fall asleep during the day, but at night, I just didn't want that confusion. It was sleep training for the night and at nap time. At this point, when she was 6 months, she was still having her 3 naps through the day. So that's what I did for her sleep training. The second night, it took pretty much the same time, but she actually didn't wake up at 10 o'clock. She woke up at 1 o'clock. The second day naps, there was such a breeze. She would fall asleep within 10 minutes of complaining, and then she would fall asleep. And then she would actually sleep longer. That was the amazing thing. She would sleep longer because her naps previously, she would sleep for 30 minutes or 20 minutes and then she's up. But when I started sleep training, she was now sleeping for at least an hour and a half. That was a sign for me to know that, you know what, sleep training is the thing. Because trust me, the naps were longer. That meant I was able to do a lot more stuff. I'm sure you guys even noticed that my videos were a bit more consistent. From then on, it's either she doesn't wake up at all or she wakes up once to feed, and the time frame that she wakes up to feed is after 10 hours. I'll feed her for about 10 or so minutes and then literally goes back to sleep. Just put her down in her bed and she rolls over and she falls asleep. Around 6.5 months towards 7 months, it was such a breeze now. It was kind of like, wow, this is amazing, and I'm so glad that I did it. That's just how I felt. My mom could put her to sleep. My husband could put her to sleep. It was just amazing, guys. It was amazing. It was just, I just was so relieved and so happy that she could do it. It was kind of like, you know, you're just so proud of your baby, and that's just how I felt. At this point, at 7 months, we then moved her into her own bedroom, but still in the same cot. So like I said before, I just like to introduce one thing at a time. At towards 8 months, she was now standing, and that's when I then bought her own cot bed where she's currently sleeping in. So I didn't want to introduce a cot bed, sleep training, new bedroom, new this all at once. It was just going to be too hectic. So I introduced things slowly, one thing at a time, which I feel really, really helped with the process. She's about 8 months. She's about to be 9 months in this month in September. And she is just a breeze. She's gone down to 2 naps a day from when she was 8 months. Again, the Huckleberry app is the one that helped me realize that, you know, she's ready to drop a nap. I'm telling you, download the books, get the schedule, and try the sleep training. It's the best thing that I've done for both of us, for myself, for the baby, for my husband, for my mom, because everyone can just look after her and put her down to sleep. And guys, when I tell you that she is so energetic, she is so happy, she's smiling, she wants to play, she doesn't feel like she's been abandoned. And I feel like that's because she's had enough sleep. So just imagine when you have enough sleep, how you behave and how, you know, bubbly and happy that you feel when you have a good night's sleep or just a good nap. That's just what I got from her. I didn't feel like she woke up and she's grumpy, she's like wondering, why did you do this to me or anything. I feel like that's just us imposing that on the baby. But honestly, it's the best thing when they get enough sleep and they have a full consolidated 10.5 hours, 11 hours, 12 hours of sleep. You just can't tell. They're so radiant, they're so happy. I cannot stop telling my friends about this. I've helped some of my friends with the sleep training process, but honestly, guys, it's not rocket science. Just stick it out. You know, even if you carry her to go to sleep, she'll sometimes kick to be put down because she's just so used to sleeping on her own now. You know, she just rolls over and falls asleep, and then we don't see her until the next morning when she's ready to feed or when she's ready to get up. So guys, honestly, just try it. If you have a little one, you can try it when they're older, but obviously you're gonna have a bit more difficulty trying to put them to sleep because they're gonna be standing or, you know, doing the most. But the Sleep Sense has troubleshooting things that you can do for different ages, and it'll guide you through what to expect and what to do during different circumstances, whether you've got twins, whether your baby is older than 2 years, or when they are just newly born and you want to put a schedule in place. It has all of that information in there. And then the Ferber method, I just use literally the time frames of going in to check on them. Guys, I really highly recommend this, and I hope this has helped. If you guys have any other questions, please leave them down below, and I am so happy to answer them and tell you guys what I've done. And I'll link everything that I'm mentioning down in the description box. Again, this video was not sponsored. I'm literally just giving you guys the tips and the information and the apps and all of the stuff that have helped me on this journey with my baby. Considering it's my first one, I had no idea what I was going to do or what I was going to be faced with. So these few apps helped tremendously, and as well as the books and the research that I equipped myself with for the process. So I hope you guys like this video. I hope it's informative, and I hope it's going to help one of you guys. If it does, do tag me, guys. I really like to hear from you guys because it helps me know that I've really helped you with my story and my journey. So yeah, if you guys want any more baby related videos, do let me know in the comment section down below, because I do know that I have mothers who follow me and have really wanted this type of information. So don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, because it's going to help people have enough sleep, guys. So please do share it, and follow me on Instagram, on Twitter, wherever you guys are. I'm there. Just follow me. My handles are Nyazika on all my platforms, so it's easy for you guys to find me. So yeah, I hope you guys find this useful. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.